Good afternoon, everyone. For those who were just with us for the 66th Harlan Boyles Distinguished Lecture, I know you enjoyed hearing from Todd Campbell on the transformative power of yes in business and life. I'd like to call your attention to some special guests. Our Boyles lecturer, Todd Campbell, President and CEO of Builders Insurance Group and fellow App State alum. Todd is joined by members of his family, his wife Lori, also an App State alumna, and their children Colette and Reed. His 4 sisters and brother-in-law are with us today as well. Charlie Potok, Chairman of the Board of Directors at Builders Insurance Group. Acting Provost, Dr. Neva Spake. Vice Chancellors J.J. Brown, Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Doug Gillen, Director of Athletics, our dear friend Edward Boyles, for whose father, Harlan Boyles, this series is named. My fellow Dean, Mike Madrich from the College of Arts and Sciences, members of the Business Advisory Council and affiliated advisory boards in the Walker College, and members of our Dean's Club, thank you all for being here today. I'm pleased to see friends, community partners, and business leaders here today. We appreciate you and your commitment to Appalachian State University. I'd also like to welcome members of the student body who are representing some of our key student programs. Walker Fellows, our ambassadors, who are also serving as volunteers for this event. From the Brantley Risk and Insurance Center, our student members of Gamma Iota Sigma, which promotes, encourages, and sustains student interest in insurance, risk management, and actuarial science as a profession. Members of our Holland Fellows, our long-standing International Impact Exchange Program, and members of the Martha Guy Fellows Program. Thank you all for being with us. Please enjoy conversation at your tables. As lunch begins, we'll reconvene our program in just a little while and hear from one of our outstanding students, App State senior Adrian Everett, about his App State experience. Thank you.
My name is Eric Schlenker. I'm the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship here at Appalachian State. Provost Spake and Mr. Campbell, thank you very much, and all of our distinguished guests. It's very nice to see you. Thank you to Dean Vinoy for making this possible, and for Mr. Boyles for participating today. I hope you're all enjoying lunch and the conversation. Feel free to keep eating while we begin our program. In my role, I have the opportunity to work with some pretty incredible students as they develop an entrepreneurial mindset. And we call it an entrepreneurial mindset, but really it's the same tenacity, grit, and resilience that anyone needs who's going to take an idea out of their head and go bring it into the real world. Today, I have the honor and privilege of introducing such a student. Adrian Everett is a senior, double majoring in risk management and insurance and finance and banking. He's a Walker Fellow, serving as an ambassador to Walker College and a co-director of App State's chapter of Gamma Iota Sigma, the International Professional Collegiate Organization for Insurance. Adrian's going to graduate in May, and we're excited for him, but we're all going to miss him. What he's not likely to tell you today is he spent spring break last week in London with the RMI program, and he got in at 10 o'clock last night from an insurance conference in Raleigh where he was advocating for landscape coverage, landslide coverage after the Hurricane Helene. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Adrian Everett, fresh back from his adventures. Welcome to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for attending the Boyles Lecture Luncheon today. My name is Adrian Everett, and I'm a senior double majoring in risk management, insurance, and finance. I grew up in a small town just outside of Wilmington, North Carolina, called Burgaw, and today I'd like to share my journey as an App State Mountaineer, and more importantly, as a student of the Walker College of Business. Before diving into my background, I want to take a moment to highlight what the Walker College of Business means to me. From traveling across the country for networking opportunities and conferences, to securing a life-changing internship that will shape my career after graduation, the Walker College of Business has been instrumental in my growth. It has introduced me to incredible people, many of whom I will call lifelong friends. Through student organizations like Gamma Iota Sigma, the insurance fraternity on campus, and Walker Fellows, where we represent the College of Business and give tours to prospective students and their families, I've had the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than myself. I've also worked closely with faculty, particularly the dedicated teams of the Brantley Center and Business Career Services Office, who have played a pivotal role in my professional development. Looking back, my decision to attend App State was an easy one. It all started during my junior year of high school, when my school's theater program performed at the Valborg Theater. After exploring the campus before the show and falling in love with the Appalachian Mountains and their surrounding beauty, I knew I had to apply. My choice to pursue business also came in my junior year of high school, when I joined my school's Future Business Leaders of America Club. Serving as a budget manager, I discovered my passion for finance, which later led me to declare it as my major. Once I was accepted into App State, I was ready to embrace my journey as a mountaineer. But before I get into my experiences as a student here, I want to talk about the person who shaped my love for learning and my determination to pursue higher education, my mom. If you heard me speak at the Walker College of Business Scholarship Reception this past November, I apologize. You're about to hear a familiar story. But I can't talk about my journey without mentioning the impact my mom has had on my life. For me, going to college wasn't really a choice. It was destiny. My mom, an elementary school teacher, was determined that both of her children would become college graduates. She made sure my educational journey started early, whether that meant taking me to the library after work so I could read, buying me a Leapfrog tablet to learn the alphabet, or even letting me sit in on her kindergarten classes well before I was old enough to be in school. She always made sure I was learning something new and preparing me for success. I know she was just as excited, if not more than I was, when I got into App State. I recently called her, and she told me, "The day you told me you were going to college was the proudest day of my life. And the day I dropped you off on, move-in day, was the second proudest." When I first arrived at App State, I had no idea what to expect. As a first-generation college student, this was my first time being away from home for more than a week. And to say I was nervous would be an understatement. I felt an immediate need to find my place and my purpose before classes even started. Little did I know, that purpose had already found me months earlier. After graduating high school in June and confirming my attendance at App State, I received a text from an unknown number. It was from a professor named Dr. Will Shepard, inviting me to join a brand new initiative, the Black Male Excellence Initiative, or BMEI. The mission was simple: to build a community of support for first-year black male students at the largest PWI in North Carolina. Now, I'll admit, I didn't even realize App State was a PWI until I arrived on campus. On move-in day, my family, my mom, dad, younger brother, and aunt, took a walk around campus, stopping at the dining hall, student union, library gift shop, and other key spots. As we finished setting up my dorm room, I finally asked a question that had been on my mind all day. Where are all of our people at? My dad laughed and said, "What do you mean, son?" I quickly replied, "Where are all the black people at?" Everyone laughed until they realized I was dead serious. The only words uttered by anyone in the room over the next 5 minutes came from my aunt, and they were simply, "Bless it." And if you're from the South, you know exactly what that means. My freshman year started off strong. I immediately connected with my roommate, Frankie, and we became close friends. The funny thing about our friendship was that we were complete opposites. I was quiet, reserved, and structured. Go to class, attend my weekly BMEI meetings, go to church on Sundays, study, and be in bed by 9:30. Meanwhile, Frankie was outgoing, social, and always up for an adventure. It seemed like every night he was doing something wild. He'd casually come back to our room on a random Wednesday and say, "Yeah, bro, I had a pretty chill day. Just went to class, tutoring, then did a little deep cave exploring. Nothing too crazy." Then he'd go to sleep and do something equally insane the next day. At first, I thought he was crazy, but over time I started going out with him, and I realized there was a method to his madness. Hanging out with Frankie helped me break out of my shell. I built confidence in my communication skills, started forming connections across campus. Dr. Shepard took notice. By the beginning of my second semester, he began preparing me for a leadership role within BMEI. He was hesitant at first because, in his words, "You always had the brains, it's just hard to get a word out of you." Under his mentorship, I learned what it meant to be a leader, meeting with him twice a week to discuss leadership skills, personal growth, and the impact we could make. By the end of the year, both Dr. Shepard and I knew I was ready. Then something unexpected happened. The two other student leaders of BMEI transferred, leaving me as the only option to take over. I questioned whether I was ready to lead the program alone. But after reflecting on my growth over the past year, thanks to Frankie's influence, Dr. Shepard's mentorship, and my own willingness to step outside of my comfort zone, I realized this was exactly the challenge I needed and wanted. So at the end of my freshman year, it became official. I stepped into the role of student leader for BMEI, looking forward to expanding the program alongside Dr. Shepard while also diving further into my finance courses as a sophomore. However, my sophomore year turned out to be more challenging than I anticipated. I struggled to be the leader and mentor I hoped to be for BMEI, constantly feeling like I wasn't doing enough for the new members. For the first time in my life, I struggled academically. Despite putting in as much, if not more effort than I had during my freshman year, I wasn't seeing the same results. On top of that, personal challenges back home weighed heavily on me, taking a toll on my mental health. I began questioning if college was really the right path for me. Winter break that year was a much-needed reset. Though I still had lingering doubts, I returned determined to make the most of the second half of my year. And slowly, things started to improve. The new members of BMEI noticed I was struggling, and without being asked, they stepped up, taking on my responsibilities and naturally emerging as future leaders of the program. Dr. Shepard also resumed our regular one-on-one meetings, but this time, they weren't about leadership training. They were about me, my mental health, my well-being, and simply checking in to see how I was doing. Academically, I made some progress. My grades weren't perfect, but they were definitely better than the previous semester. More importantly, I started managing my time more effectively, making space for the people and things that truly mattered to me. By the end of my sophomore year, I was exhausted, but I was also hopeful. I had endured one of the toughest years of my life, and I had made it through. Despite the challenges, I kept learning, growing, and becoming not only a better leader, but a better person. However, one major concern still loomed over me: securing an internship for the summer. Landing a finance internship as a sophomore is an ambitious goal, but I've always been an ambitious person, so I believed if anyone could make it happen, it was me. I spent countless hours submitting applications during the school year and throughout the summer. Most companies didn't even send a rejection letter. The ones that did kept it short and impersonal. Some cited my lack of experience, others pointed to my grades. The few companies that did offer interviews didn't end well. I was completely unprepared. I didn't know what to expect, what questions to ask, how to navigate the conversation, or how to properly answer the questions they asked me. As my grandma would say, it was one hot mess. When I went back and counted, I realized I had submitted over 240 applications. Of those, I received 228 rejections and 12 interviews, all of which I bombed. Reality hit me hard. I'd be going into my junior year without an internship. For the first time, I seriously questioned whether finance was the right major for me. I enjoyed learning about it, but was it really what I wanted to do as a career? As I explored other options, one field stood out. During my final semester of sophomore year, I had taken a Principles of Insurance class, and to my surprise, I really enjoyed it. I had never considered insurance as a career, but I had heard great things about App State's Risk Management Insurance, RMI, program. So I started researching it. Through a connection I had made during my freshman year, I got in contact with Dr. David Marlette, director of the RMI program in the Brantley Risk and Insurance Center. Over the summer, we had several conversations, and by the time August had rolled around, he convinced me to declare RMI as a second major. Heading into my junior year, I felt unstoppable. I had discovered an exciting new career path in risk management and insurance, was eager to mentor the incoming BMEI members, and had built a strong support system across campus, especially within the College of Business. Everything seemed to be going in my favor, that is, until I received the news that the most impactful person in my App State journey so far was leaving. Just 1 week before classes started, I learned that Dr. Shepard would no longer be leading BMEI and was leaving App State entirely for a new position at the University of South Carolina. Though no one fully understood why he was leaving, one thing was clear. BMEI would have to redefine itself without its founder. I was devastated. My biggest mentor, the person who had guided me through my toughest moments, wouldn't be there for what felt like my most pivotal year. And with less than a week before classes started, I had no time to dwell on it. I could only ask myself one question: who will I turn to now? The answer? Dr. Marlette and the Brantley Center. Before my junior year, the Brantley Center was just another office in Peacock Hall to me. I knew it existed and I knew it was on the 3rd floor, but that was about it. To be honest, I didn't understand the hype. But from the moment I stepped through its doors on the first day of my junior year, my entire college experience changed. The Brantley Center welcomed me with open arms. Wendy Dane quickly became like a second mother, making sure that I and every other student in the major stayed on track and made the right decisions. Dylan Waschenbach became both a great friend and mentor, an advisor, helping me land my first internship through constant interview prep, while also being my go-to guy for MBA and shoe debates. I built strong friendships with fellow insurance students, connections that have only strengthened as we approach graduation. More than anything, the Brantley Center helped me develop skills that will serve me far beyond the classroom. The most valuable? Self-confidence. Their unwavering encouragement and belief in me allowed me to grow in ways I never would have imagined, building upon the leadership and personal development I'd gained from BMEI and Dr. Shepard's mentorship. My junior year was one of immense learning, both academically and personally. I took my first insurance courses, gaining insight into the industry and its many moving parts. I remained actively involved across campus, continuing my role as the student leader for BMEI. In fact, my experience at the Brantley Center made me an even better mentor, strengthening my ability to connect with BMEI members on a deeper level and helping establish a solid foundation for the program's future. I could talk about my junior year all day, but in the interest of time, I'll skip to the best part, my internship. About a month into the RMI program, Dr. Marlette encouraged me to apply for the WSIA, Wholesale and Specialty Insurance Association internship program. It seemed like an exciting opportunity, so I went for it. What he forgot to mention, however, was just how competitive it was. This nationwide program only selects 25 students from colleges and universities across the country, offering them the chance to experience both major sides of the insurance industry, underwriting and brokering. The internship turned out to be an incredible experience. I had the privilege of working with 2 outstanding companies, Core Specialty in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the CRC Group in Chicago, Illinois. During my time with them, my understanding of the insurance industry grew exponentially, and I built a network of invaluable connections that will support me as I begin my career. In fact, my experience at Core Specialty was so great that they somehow convinced me to permanently move to Cincinnati, of all places, to begin my insurance career. I'll be joining them as an associate underwriter on their product liability team and will be part of their Leaders in Training program. Another incredible opportunity that I've gained through my involvement in the Walker College of Business is serving as a Walker Fellow this year. The Walker Fellow program is a select group of students who act as ambassadors for the Walker College of Business, representing the college, business career services, and the Office of the Dean at major events. These include donor and VIP meetings, admissions events, the Walker Fall and Spring Connect events, and of course, the annual Boyles Distinguished Lecture Series. This experience has allowed me to expand my network even further, connecting with local business owners, alumni, and prospective students considering App State and the Walker College of Business. More than anything, this role has been the perfect way for me to cap off my time here, allowing me to give back to the community and the people who have made my 4 years here so special, while also helping to inspire and support the next generation of WCOB students. As my senior year comes to a close, it's hard to believe that my undergraduate journey is almost over. Looking back on these past 4 years, the highs, the lows, the late nights spent studying and spending time with friends, I couldn't have asked for a better college experience. Standing before you today, I've accomplished more than I ever could have imagined when I first stepped onto this campus as a freshman on August 12th, 2021. If you had told that version of Adrian that he'd be giving a speech like this, let alone while still in college, he would have laughed in your face. And if you told him that he'd be leaving behind a lasting legacy through BMEI and already have a significant job secured before graduation, he'd probably laugh even harder. The person I am today is a direct reflection of the mentorship and guidance I received from incredible professors and faculty like Dr. Shepard and Dr. Marlette, as well as the first-class education I've gained from the Walker College of Business. But it's also a testament to my own hard work and the love of learning that has been instilled in me since I was 2 years old. Every opportunity I've had at the Walker College of Business has helped shape my future, giving me a sense of purpose, confidence, and a skill set that will allow me to succeed, whether in the insurance industry or beyond. Most importantly, my journey has taught me the power of mentorship, of believing in someone and providing the support and resources they need to thrive. Because of the impact others have had on me, I'm committed to doing the same for future students, ensuring they have the same opportunities to grow and succeed. None of this would have been possible without the Brantley Center or the support of the Greater Walker College of Business, and none of it would have happened if I hadn't chosen App State. To all of the donors in attendance, thank you. Your continued generosity has made it possible for students like me to pursue our education without the overwhelming burden of covering the cost of attendance on our own. Because of your support, more students will have the opportunity to build their legacy at App State and focus on their collegiate journey without financial barriers holding them back. Thank you, and I encourage you to continue believing in the transformative power of higher education. I just finished sharing what this journey has meant to me, but the truth is, it hasn't been mine alone. Thanks to the College of Business, another person's dream has come true, one that belongs to someone who has never stepped foot in Peacock Hall, but has been with me every step of the way. My mother will soon see in her own words, her biggest dream come true. In less than 8 weeks, her son, Adrian Eugene Everett Jr., will be a college graduate. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian, so much for sharing your story with us. We know you are going to be successful whatever you do with the rest of your life. Thank you so much. And thank you all for making this lunch such a special time together. I want to extend a special thank you to some folks that helped arrange today and make today the great time that it was. Grandview Catering and Events team for our fantastic lunch. The Holmes Convocation Center staff for setting up this beautiful space and allowing us to use it. Mountaineer AV for a seamless show today. And Kim Bach and the Walker College of Business team for their great work in coordinating today's activities. Please join me in a round of applause. Events like the Boyles Lecture and Luncheon help us accomplish our mission at the Walker College of Business to provide transformational educational experiences that prepare and inspire our students to be engaged business leaders who positively impact our communities. This concludes today's events, and I thank you again for being with us, and I wish you a great afternoon.